Welcome into Cardinals Plus. I'm your host, Corey Miller, and for this episode, we sat down with the Athletics' Katie Wu to talk about a pair of Cardinals prized prospects who made their debut and the Jekyll and Hyde nature of the Cardinals' offense so far this season. Here's what we talked about. All right, Katie, first things first. Obviously, everybody's been clamoring for Nolan Gorman for a long time. He's here, he's in the lineup on Friday. But what's a realistic expectation? Because fans have built this call up really big in their heads.
Of course, obviously a very exciting time for Cardinals fans in the organization and calling up their top prospect in Nolan Gorman. He's batting sixth, playing second base, and will wear number 16 tonight against the Pirates. John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations, has always said that Gorman's playing time and his eventual call-up would come based on the opportunity. Cardinals clearly think that there's an opportunity for him to play every day now, and the expectation is that he'll play second base and Tommy Edman will play shortstop as the predominant middle infield options for the immediate future. Obviously, Nolan Gorman's been a top prospect, really prized for his bat. He's a prolific offensive player, and the Cardinals have been encouraged by how much he's improved defensively and switching from third base to second base over the last 18 months. My expectation is that we'll see Nolan Gorman plenty over the next couple of weeks.
Tommy Edman, you mentioned moving to shortstop. The team seemed hesitant to move him off that second base spot, but now they've deemed it's necessary. He's shown he can handle pretty much anywhere they've thrown him so far. How confident are they with him at shortstop?
I exchanged a couple of texts with Tommy last night on my flight back from New York City. He said, and this is a guy, Tommy Edman, has played shortstop in college at Stanford. He's played through his minor league careers. He says he's pretty confident in the transition. He's confident in both positions that he can play in the middle infield. The Cardinals are confident as well. Obviously, when you have a 2021 Gold Glove winning caliber guy at second base, you don't really want to move him. But the Cardinals have relied on Tommy Edman as a utility defensive player before. Now they'll do it again, just in a different position. I really do think that the Cardinals have been encouraged by the defensive flexibility that prospects like Juan Yepez and Brennan Donovan have brought as well. And of course, Anuda Sosa can do some utility work around the infield as well. So plenty of options there for the Cardinals.
So it's not just Nolan Gorman joining the team in Pittsburgh. His old buddy Matthew Liberatore is coming along with him. Why was now the right time for Liberatore to come up? I know the Cardinals need some innings out of their rotation. Why was he the one to get the call this time?
I think in Liberatore's case, it was a matter of both performance and circumstance. He had a legitimate shot in spring to win a spot in the starting rotation, though the Cardinals ultimately elected to have him start the year in AAA so he could continue perfecting his arsenal and his command. Liberatore has 4 pitches that he can use when effective, and the hope was that he could continue fine-tuning that command in AAA. With the doubleheader on Tuesday in New York and starting pitchers Dakota Hudson and Jordan Hicks unable to go through 5 innings on Wednesday and Thursday, the bullpen was a little taxed. The Cardinals didn't want to push Miles Michaels or Steven Matz on 4 days rest. And the bullpen game was out of the question just based on the usage over the series in New York. So it made sense to look at Liberatore, what he's been doing lately for Memphis. And the opportunity arose for 2 Little League teammates, 2 grade school best friends to debut at the same time. You really couldn't write a better story than that.
Pretty cool in Pittsburgh for sure this weekend. Let's talk about another young Cardinal real quick. Juan Yepez. He could have hit his way onto the team in spring training. He's here now, and all he does is hit. Tyler O'Neill going to the IL. Juan Yepez seemed to have cemented himself in this lineup for as long as he doesn't hit, until he stops hitting, I guess.
Absolutely. I don't think that there's been a day since his call up where he hasn't played. He's been such an impactful bat for the Cardinals in the cleanup spot or occasionally the 5-hole. Just everything that we've seen Juan Yepez do has not necessarily been surprising because the Cardinals have seen it before. But to me, it's been surprising just how quickly he's acclimated to the big league level. But, he has a lot of mentors offensively in Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt. But his biggest one is Albert Pujols. Pujols joked with reporters in New York that he is thankful when Yepez is playing on the field and not DHing, because when Yepez is a designated hitter, all he does is talk to Pujols throughout the game, talks his ear off. He said, I need a break from him sometimes. But the bond has been really instrumental in Yepez's overall growth in the game, and he certainly has cemented himself as a mainstay in this Cardinals lineup. And it's been very fun to watch.
2 things here before I let you go. The Cardinals gave Jordan Hicks a shot in the rotation. The length has not been there so far as they would like. How committed do you think they are to Hicks in that rotation for the rest of the year, or could they change it up and put him back in the bullpen?
I think both Hicks and Dakota Hudson are a fluid situation, and it will obviously a lot will dictate on how Liberatore does on Saturday when Jack Flaherty comes back, and if those two pitchers can provide the length that's expected. With Adam Wainwright and Miles Michaelis, who's been having just an incredible year coming back from basically 2 seasons of being injured. The length is there. Steven Matz has never really been a pitcher that's going to go out there and give you 7 innings, but he's consistent enough to get you 5 2/3 to 6, and you can rely on those 3. For Hicks and Hudson, it hasn't been the same story. They have been not as durable as the Cardinals would like. So I think that they'll continue providing an opportunity for Jordan Hicks, but eventually over the next couple of starts, since he is all the way maxed out from a pitch count perspective, if he cannot find the efficiency and the durability, they may have to reevaluate. Cardinals bullpen has been exceptional. I know over the last couple of games it hasn't seemed that way, but when you are a bullpen that needs to cover 14 innings over 3 games, guys get a little tired. Hicks could also, and we've seen this before, thrive in a bullpen role as well. But again, Corey, I do think these situations are very fluid depending on how Liberatore does and the timetable on Jack Flaherty's return.
It's a big Jack Flaherty's return for sure, hanging over everything. Last thing before I let you go. Cardinals offense has been Jekyll and Hyde this year. They'll score 10 runs, then they'll come out and score 1 run or 2 runs the next day. You're with the team on an everyday basis. Which Cardinals is the real Cardinals? Can they get to a point where it is somewhat consistent?
I think that'll be interesting to see how the offense fares when Tyler O'Neill comes back. Surely nobody thought that his start to the season would go the way that it did. You hope that Tyler O'Neill can come back healthy first and foremost. But I think we'll continue to see the Cardinals offense develop even more these young prospects. I don't want to go necessarily put all the weight on Nolan Gorman's shoulders, right? I don't think he is the savior of the organization, which, by the way, is doing just fine a quarter of the way through the season. Though Cardinals fans certainly would like to see them win a bit more games, and I understand that. But when you have guys like Brennan Donovan and Juan Yepez, and you have guys that are coming up, as in Nolan Gorman, it'll be interesting to see how that boosts the offense. I've been very encouraged by Tommy Edman at the top of the lineup. Paul Goldschmidt is quietly having another stellar May. Nolan Arenado, early MVP candidate. I'm not saying the Cardinals by any means are the best offense in the game, but I do think they're better than the short bursts in which they only score 1 to 2 runs at a time. You would like to see Dylan Carlson get going a little bit more, and he has been. The at-bats from Yadier Molina have been improving. Overall, I think the offense is a work in progress, though to me, it seems like they're trending in the right direction.
That will do it for this episode of Cardinals Plus. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.